Hey, I'm Melissa Joan Hart. You might know me as Clarissa or Sabrina or from Melissa and Joey. I was about 11 or 12 when I got the role in Clarissa. I auditioned 3 times. I was doing a play off Broadway, and the executive producer heard that he should audition me. He did not want a blonde, but after 3 auditions, I won him over, and I got the part of Clarissa, and I played that character until I was about 17 and a half, basically graduating high school. We were on the Universal Studios lot. We were part of the tour. The tour would go through the studio. You get to go taste slime and gack and all these things, so my breaks were spent eating green pudding and green applesauce and stuff like that. I just remember it being a lot of work, but I learned a lot too, like walking around the set and asking a lot of questions about the equipment and learning how everyone did their jobs there. So kind of basically it was like a mini film school. Clarissa was one of those characters that girls wanted to be and guys wanted to date, and it was just one of those things where she was just cool and everyone liked her and everybody wanted to be like her. A lot of people tell me that she started their careers in fashion or in graphic design because of the computer design that was going on around the screen, how she was always designing computer programs. I don't talk to the actors anymore from that show. You know, it was before the time of like social media or email even.
Hi, Sam.
Nobody has ever crawled in my bedroom window that I can recall. I've oftentimes thought about crawling out of a window.
Can you explain it all?
I can explain a lot, but only a little bit of everything. Not like everything.
Wow, this magic thing isn't so bad.
Sabrina was awesome. It was long hours, but I wasn't having to go to high school this time, so it was like more like an adult job for the first time in my life. People remember high school their entire lives, and that's only 4 years, and we spent 7 years on Sabrina, so that's something that'll always be with me. Sabrina, a lot of people related to. I didn't, because I was always very like, you know, I wasn't the wallflower. I was the one who was always like tap dancing in the middle of the room. I understand that she spoke to a lot of people and made people kind of come out of their shell and feel better about themselves, and I love that about her. I don't really have any supernatural beliefs. You know what's funny about Sabrina is like everyone looks at it as witchcraft, and I guess the reboot that they're about to do that I'm not involved in is more about witchcraft. Ours was more magic. I learned a little bit about witchcraft just because people kept giving me witchcraft books and stuff as gifts. I can see where witchcraft came from, you know, women in the woods making up concoctions and, you know, basically just getting high, flying on their brooms. So I was called Sabrina for many, many years, my whole 20s really. And then I did Dancing with the Stars about the same time I started playing Mel from Melissa and Joey. I went from being called on the street like, Sabrina, Sabrina, hey Sabrina, to all of a sudden being called Melissa. And people started to know who I was. Every actor wants to play an iconic role that they'll be remembered for their whole lives. But then when you realize that you've done a whole body of work, but that's all people seem to want to talk about. So it can be frustrating at times, but I've been really lucky because I have played so many different characters. I don't ever see it as a negative. I think it's wonderful. My mother is my producing partner. We have our company, Heartbreak Films. When I was little, she would manage my career. We've just done tons of movies together and TV shows like Melissa and Joey. But then I decided I didn't want to be in a movie. I wanted to direct a movie, and it was Watcher in the Woods. It's the first thing I've directed that I'm not in, and it's just a beautiful movie, and it's scary, and it's fun, and it was my favorite movie when I was a kid, so I'm very excited to be a part of the reimagining and to show it to a new audience. So we went to Wales last summer, 2016, and we brought the amazing Angelica Houston with us, and we got a great young cast out of London, and we had some fun in the rainy, swampy, like, in the woods of this dairy farm, just making this scary movie. It's gonna be like one of the gems of my career that I'm so proud of. I actually avoided horror movies for a very long time. When I was a little girl, I actually auditioned for the original It. That terrified me. Yeah, I had no problem with horror movies until the movie Scream came out. I did audition for it, didn't get the part. It went to Neve Campbell. The only person hired at the time was Drew Barrymore. And when that came out, then I was offered I Know What You Did Last Summer. And I just thought it was a rip-off of Scream, and I thought it wasn't gonna be as good. So I probably talked my way out of a film career in a little bit of a way. And then with Watcher in the Woods, now here I am back in this genre, but because it's a movie I've loved my whole life. So, and I think it's also one of those, it's not a gore, it's not a splatter movie. So everybody always asks what's my favorite role, Clarissa or Sabrina, and I always say it's Mel from Melissa and Joey, because she was such a flawed character. I just loved being that kind of character that was just kind of, it was very Lucy-esque to me. It was like someone who was just kind of, you know, causing the tornado. With Sabrina, I felt like I had to like always fix everything. I think Clarissa would be a good one to reboot because we didn't really leave it anywhere. Sabrina rode off in a wedding dress with Harvey on a motor scooter or a motorcycle, you know, and their hearts rolled together and you saw that they were soulmates. It's kind of like buttons up the show. Clarissa, we never had that. We just sort of like did an episode and it was the end. You know, I feel like there is probably more room to grow on Clarissa and people were so fascinated with it. I would think that character, it would be nice to see what happened to her. With Sabrina, it's kind of obvious, you know, she has some kids, they're half mortal, or they're a quarter mortal, you know, or a quarter witch, I guess, 3/4 mortal, I don't know. Anyway, with reboots, it's a really touchy subject because if you don't do it right, if you don't have the right writing and the right, even promotion behind it, everything, it can just fall on its face, and if it does, that could be the end of your career. I like moving forward more so than moving backwards.